Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. Today's Answer the Call is titled Low Effort Content with Grumpy Eye. No, it's not a tutorial on how to do React videos. We're going to be talking about the content in Star Citizen, and specifically, he made a video more recently about what he felt was low effort content in Star Citizen, and it was like a live stream clip, so there was some like context left out. Maybe there was more of a conversation left a little bit longer, but I thought it was a really, really interesting topic that we can talk for a while about, actually, and go into some more depth. So with that said, we'll go right into it. Grumpy, teach us how to do low effort content. Nice. That was crazy. That was crazy cool. I'm liking and subscribing. So let's talk about that real quick. You made a video, you talked about low effort content, and I would agree. Like most of the stuff in Star Citizen, if not all of the stuff until most recently, like in my opinion with mining, it's really kind of just tossed in there and it's not in a good state or whatever, right? And it could definitely be considered low effort content. What we'll get to, I think, and why I was so inspired and like instantly messaged you and was like, hey, I would love to talk more about this with you, is I never heard what you thought was like really good content and what high effort content would look like. I only heard what the examples of what low effort content were, but let's start out with that. Like give a synopsis of that video. What are some examples of the low effort stuff?
So the whole thing happened during my stream, and somebody asked me like, why am I continuing to say low effort? And the thing that I wanted, and I don't know if the stream clip actually, if people really understood it, but for me, low effort content is, for example, Jumptown, where yes, it is fun for us, but then again, it's just like a single dispenser, and that's it, or 2 dispensers now, doesn't matter. And it's really easy to integrate, and then you have people that are going to fight over it, even though there's no really, like, there's not a reason to fight over it because the economy is not there, etc., etc. And I think that there are better ways to make people fight over something, over components, over stuff, right?
Sure.
And it just takes like a little bit more of effort to get to that point. So it's not just like a dispenser. So it's not just like now we have the bunker missions where we have spawn closets. Like spawn closets, I thought they died with Doom in like 1991 or 1992, right?
Maybe, but I don't. How else would they do it?
By having them spawn over there already and having like reinforcements that come from, I don't know.
Oh, like a ship and then come down or something?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you don't see the closet opening and you can shoot the people inside.
Yeah.
The NPCs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really don't know of any other game that like does it like that currently in like 2023.
Yeah.
I understand why they did it. I completely understand why they did it. But again, we as players should like strive for more, for better content, for like content that they put a bit more effort in, right?
Sure. I mean, we could touch on the spawn closets thing a little bit with I don't know, like other MMOs that I played, enemies like just appear. They just like you kill them, their bodies disappear. They spawn in, they just show up. And so like I know you said I get why they did it. Well, they certainly can't do the thing that we think is high effort right now. Because I'm reading the monthly report, they are working on it, but we can't expect it to work perfectly. So maybe it's more of like a temporary thing, but I understand now that you say it, like,
it is.
Hey, the door opens and I can just shoot all these guys in the door. It's pretty dog shit, right? Like it is, but it's less magic than them just appearing, and we can't have them come down in ships. So it's kind of like one of these things of, I'm assuming this is what you're touching on about low effort is like everything is placeholder.
Yes, I mean to a degree because we really don't know what is placeholder.
We don't know what is and what isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think the bunker spawn closets are gonna stay probably.
Probably even for the new bunker missions, like the new UGOs. I don't know. That's the question. Like the thing is, like Star Citizen takes pride in like being so immersive and all of that, and then you get spawn closets, then you get a dispenser, and you get like stuff like that, which other games did better, right? And you said that like
give some examples because I never played FPS games too much. And like, what are some examples of better ways of doing this? And hopefully they're like multiplayer games because one of the issues are we have to go back to that bunker over and over again. It's not like you walk through a single player map and then you don't go back.
Like DayZ basically did it perfectly.
Okay,
but that's why I want to compare Star Citizen to games like that, to Tarkov, to DayZ and stuff like that, because Star Citizen, yes, it is gonna be an MMO. It's currently not, but it is gonna be an MMO. But then again, is it like a normal MMO? Is it like WoW?
No,
it's not the same thing, and it doesn't.
A perfect game to compare it to, I think.
Yeah. So in DayZ, you have military zones, like military bases that are huge. Some are smaller, but like you have checkpoints, you have bases, and blah blah. And the highest tier loot spawns there.
Sure.
So it makes players go to the to those locations to like try to get, let's say, like a better weapon or explosives to raid a base, etc., etc.
Yep.
And PvP is naturally going to happen there because you want the stuff that the other guy collected, or you just want to defend yourself, right?
Of course.
It's the same. So like, there's a couple of things that DayZ does perfectly. That's like, I've played that game for the last month and a half, and I'm in love with it. So you have that. Like, okay, when we're talking about the vanilla DayZ, you have the military zones, and then you have the toxic zones.
Yep.
And some dynamic toxic zones. So the point behind having like dynamic toxic zones is to have players wait for the toxic cloud to go out, so they can go into the town at the same time, and then shit's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, Star Citizen could do that with like weather effects. So, like, the weather is too bad, you cannot enter a bunker or a huge military base or whatever, right?
Do you know what?
It doesn't need to be like a toxic cloud.
Do you know what sucks about all this is that even if you do low effort content in terms of like, okay, there's a bunker over here, there's spawn closets, there's whatever. What really separates DayZ right now from Star Citizen is that there's actual loot progression. I want to go to the military zone because the gun and armor and helmet and backpack that I get there are significantly better than the garbage thing I found on the coast. Yeah. And we do not have that in Star Citizen. And if we do, we sort of do with railguns, we sort of do with grenade launchers, we sort of do with snipers. But the thing about it is I don't think that they've been super successful at making it very clear to the player that at Security Post Korea, you can get a ton of railguns. You cannot. That's part of the problem is that
it's RNG.
The RNG is not like, you can have RNG, but it needs to be like very clear that if I go to Security Post Korea, the RNG is weighted towards there's a better chance at these things, and it is not significantly recognizable at all.
Exactly. That's like the thing that DayZ does perfectly. So for the last week, we wanted to raid a base of some Russians. It doesn't matter, and they had like a bunch of walls.
Why they gotta be Russians?
Well, they are Russians, so yeah.
I know, but I'm just joking.
They were like, we have the biggest like clan on the server currently, and they were the biggest threat up until yesterday. So They had a bunch of walls, and we did not have enough explosives to like break through the walls and raid them.
Yep.
So you would just go constantly in like to the military bases trying to find explosives, and sometimes you're not going to get them. Sometimes you're going to get a key card, which is worth much more for something else. For example, the key cards give you access to some other higher tiered loot or to vehicles, like armored vehicles, because you can find like Ladas and stuff like that, Skodas, on the coast. But then again, if you want a Humvee, if you want a Lap V or something like that, you need a key card, right?
Sure.
So it like there's so then again like there's so much depth to DayZ that it's just like it you start playing it and you're continuously getting like surprised by the depth that the game has. Like with crafting, with medical gameplay and all of that, it's just like Jesus Christ, how did I sleep on this game for fucking 10 years, man? Right?
I've been watching DayZ YouTube content for years. I don't play it, but I watch
you gotta
it.
Try it.
I will.
You would love it.
I have played it before. No, I barely have. I maybe have like 30, 40 hours in it.
Yeah,
but but I watch it so much. It is very cool. And the thing is, it's kind of funny because the way I would describe low effort content is sort of everything that you just described there. It's I think it's much easier to put all these like little intricate systems that eventually like kind of tie together and allow the players to just go out and do everything.
It is.
Right?
It is, right?
But it's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
So more effort was put into like think out how everything is going to play out and how to make players PvP and all of that, than to like make systems that are going to allow that, right?
Yep.
So yeah, like those key cards that I just mentioned are modded. Like they're like there's an expansion.
They stole the idea from Tarkov, obviously.
Yeah, basically. And then you have airdrops. Airdrops are also modded. And those airdrops are like dynamic events, and it's yet again another way to make people PvP over some good loot, right?
Yeah.
The vanilla DayZ has dynamic events with like chopper crashes, which is basically the same thing, but it's not as high tiered loot as the airdrops. But yeah, like there's so much stuff to do there, and there's so much the adrenaline rush that you get every time you see a player. Like every time, like whoever played that game, especially on a server that is not PvP heavy like I'm playing on. So we have like 50 people up to like 60 people a day, right? And most of the day it's like 20 people. So you're not going to encounter that many people all the time.
Yeah.
But when you do, you're shaking like this, dude.
Yeah.
It's the scariest shit ever, honestly, because you spent like hours collecting stuff, and then you like want to go back to base, but you see a guy and you're like, shit, what do I do now?
I remember the first kill I ever got was like a guy on a roof of the police station at some town, and I was on a hill and I sniped him, and like my heart was pounding out of my chest. It was such a good feeling.
Exactly.
And then you were like, well, now I have to get to the body, and I have to loot him, and maybe I get out, maybe I don't. You know.
Here's one thing that's really good with DayZ, which Star Citizen should probably consider doing. So currently you have Jump Down and you have those dispensers, and they spawn whatever drugs on like every 40 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. Like there's a time, right?
Sure.
With DayZ, you have all the loot placed on the map, and it's like it just like respawns in the same locations, and it's like RNG what you're gonna get in the same spot, right? So if you're a single person and you go for a military base, you're gonna fill up your inventory, and you're gonna go back and you're gonna be happy. If you have 5 people with you, if there's like 6 of you, you're gonna fill up your inventory and you're gonna be happy. But then if somebody dies, maybe that guy had like the best loot on him, like maybe he had like the RPG or like satchel chargers or whatever. Or like if you go with a vehicle and you're alone, I don't know if you understand where I'm going at with this. So
I don't know where you're going. I mean, I understand the game, so I'm following you.
Yeah. So, okay, so if you have a vehicle, you have a bigger inventory, right?
Sure. Yeah, you have huge inventory.
Yeah. And if you're alone, it's really easy to lose that vehicle and the whole inventory and everything that you gathered. So with Star Citizen, you go alone on Jumptown, and you're not gonna have fun. You're not gonna like take Jumptown on your own. The profit, if you take Jumptown, is gonna be huge. So you want to have a couple of players with you, and hope that there's not gonna be like a bigger org that's gonna attack you and take over Jumptown. But if there's a bigger org, then the split is even smaller, right? So if they like had it for an hour, they're still gonna get the same amount of money. They're still gonna get the same amount of loot, but they need to split it between people, right? And the only way to ensure to take it is to have like a bunch of people. But with DayZ or Tarkov, everybody's gonna be happy because the split is always even, right? And the split is like you're always gonna
get
have
what you find.
Exactly.
I see Hannah typing in chat, who plays a lot of Star Citizen Piracy, says no, you hope for a bigger org so you have good content. But I think that's what's so flawed about the game right now, is that you do these things to hope to get content out of it, because the game doesn't provide you content on a consistent basis, right? And that's really the problem with it. Is you go to Jumptown for the money. Yes, people go to Jumptown for the money. That's the whole reason to go there, right? And then the content and fighting ends up happening there. The problem is like, what do you do with the money? I think like this is where like I didn't think that we would go here specifically with this conversation, but I'm happy that we did. Is that again, like this is all stuff that I would consider semi-low effort content. You're not designing huge mission arcs and storylines and cutscenes and all these things that you might see in other games. That's what I thought you meant by high effort content. But you're more talking about like thinking through things. Not yet. But we can get to that, I guess. But I am. This is cool. I think this is really cool that what you consider high effort it's just making things matter, right?
Exactly.
And like the problem with this is that the dev who makes the mission doesn't make the items matter. The devs who make the bunker doesn't make the loot matter, right? And that's been one of my hugest struggles with the game, is like, dude, what do we do with the money? Why is Jumptown mean anything? What does Maze do? It doesn't do anything. It just makes money. But when, railguns have some minute value in the game, it is so minor in comparison to when you make the comparison to a game like DayZ. Armor doesn't matter in the game. You go from 10% damage reduction on a flight suit to 40% damage reduction on a heavy armor. But guess what? The amount of damage that all the guns we use do is so fucking high. Doesn't make a difference what armor you're wearing. You're gonna die in half a second anyway. And so that's like, when are we going to create those separations? And then all of a sudden you personally, Grumpy, have all these things. Like all of a sudden everything in DayZ comes into Star Citizen. Not everything, obviously, but it starts to be more like that DayZ experience, which some people may like and some people don't. But you can't ignore the fact that Star Citizen's a full loot game, right? Yeah. And sometimes you're going to have armor that people care about. Right now, people only get mad when they lose their subscriber armor. Oh my God, my colored suit. Like that's not what it needs to be. It's got to be like, no, I lost that awesome weapon that gave me an advantage.
So I would love to see something like DayZ in Star Citizen, and I was thinking about that. Like currently with the systems that we have in the game, I think it's not going to be like it wouldn't be easy to implement, right? Because you need like level design, you need like a bunch of more like systems to come online. But like for the RNG, for like loot generation in those areas and all of that. But let's say we had like a big, and now we're just like going into Narnia land. Let's say we have like a big ass military base on Hurston.
Okay.
Right. And you can only access it, like you can go inside of it because like it's so like cramped up with a vehicle, with like a Ursa rover. So there you will need to use a vehicle, or you can go on foot, right? So there's a purpose to having vehicles. And then you have like loot spawning in those areas, and those areas are defended by the NPCs. Then again, the other players are gonna go there because they want to get the same loot, and the loot could be components like military components for vehicles, like FR shields and all of that. Could be weapons, and I'm all like, they could still be sold in the shops, but the prices would need to be much higher than they are right now. So you would want to go there to the military zones, right?
Sure, but I still think that that's taking the current day Star Citizen and not fixing the root of the problem, where everything that you describe about going to a military zone in DayZ is about getting better gear. It's not about getting gear that is worth more money. I mean, there it is. Like, I've watched DayZ videos that it's like, we were the biggest gun runners and we went and we, got all this gun loot, sold it, and then built a huge base or something with it. But for the most part, people go there and they get excited because they found their like really good. This gun is so badass. Yes. And then they have it and that's what they use, and they kill more people with it because it's better.
I mean, for that, you will need to like introduce newer guns, or you would need to like take them out of the shops, right?
Yep, which they've done, but the difference for me, I think it's the armor. Is like the way armor mitigates, or the way everything works is every gun feels the same when you shoot at somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, how do you separate the guns and make guns better if they all feel like, whether I have the little P8 versus a P6, it's basically the same, or not P6, FS9. A P8 and an FS9 essentially are the same, even though they're not, right? There's like no armor, like bullet penetration, armor values, things like that, like very much Tarkov-like, right? Like if I use a tier 4 armor...
DayZ has like the most complex ballistics in any game that I saw ever, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you can shoot through most of the walls, then like armor really matters, and like the angle of penetration also matters because you can bounce up a bullet off a helmet, etc. So yeah, it's so good, honestly. And you know what? It has persistence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hannah's in chat is gonna fight me on the guns. It's just, we're talking about literally not even seconds. We're talking about half a second in time. And with all the desync, none of it matters. I don't know how we can argue any of this about the guns.
What do you think about having a system? I'm going to say a system like in DayZ with the key cards, where you have like a really small chance, like a 1% chance to find a key card to open a hangar, and in that hangar, let's say you find a redeemer. But the redeemer is completely fucked up. It doesn't have any components, and you got to repair it so you can take it out. And you have like, I don't know, 3 minutes, let's say, before the notification goes out to all the players that somebody opened the hangar.
In the end, if nothing matters, like what? I don't know. That's my hardest thing. Is everything seems to be based around.
What would matter to you though? Like,
but for me, it's exactly what I'm explaining. Is like there has to be progression in every aspect of the game, and that includes armor and weapons.
But then like if you go that far, then I can tell you, well, yeah, but nothing is gonna matter because we don't have a working economy in place, right?
Well, no, because
you start, like, well, yeah, but we don't have crafting, etc., etc.
No. You start. Hold on, let me explain again. Then you start having things matter when, like exactly the example that I just gave. If you apply bullet penetration to certain types of armor, for example, a P8 will not penetrate. Like, you will get more significant damage mitigation on a P8 weapon than you would on an FS9 with heavy armor. So using a P8 is make a P8 is now a more common gun that you find everywhere. So people are going to use them because that's all they have. And FS9 is no longer a common gun, and you find them and you get excited when you find them because now when I go to these places, I will kill these players more easily. And they might have more FS9. They might have an even better gun. They might have a railgun on them, right? So then you don't even need to have the game create an in-game economy when there's already an economy right there for you of, I have these common things, but I want these things. And other players have those things. And even other NPCs have those things, right? You ever do Security Post Korea and you're just blasting that one guard forever? We should feel that way as well when we put that armor on, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about there, is when I put that armor on, it doesn't take that long to kill me. That makes no sense, right? So creating like...
he has a higher health pool.
Exactly. Right? And that makes no sense. He's a human. So the idea of creating these situations where the guns, the armor, the components on your ship, right? Like let's talk about, components right now is the only thing that really matters on many of our ships is our quantum drive. Like that's the greatest difference you can make is your weapons and your quantum drive right now. We need to apply those aspects to everything, because then those salvage missions don't feel so low effort anymore if there's some badass stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it all starts there. Then you can go to, then Tony Z can wake up and make an economy, because you've already determined what is valuable to a player. See what I'm saying? The player has to determine what's valuable first.
But how do you do that though? Like, do you make something like in DayZ, like I said, so you have like certain areas like military zones or whatever that
we already have it,
or is it just RNG?
Don't you feel like we already kind of have it? Like it can be, you can make the loot crates RNG, because the system they currently have now. But again, I think you're 100% right when you call this stuff low effort, because they can say at this specific bunker spawn more of this thing, literally this specific bunker, and they don't.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Now that's the problem with loot generation, but you don't fix loot generation without making the loot mean something to the player. So like that's my die on a hill. I am, you need to improve this Star Citizen thing for me right now.
The railguns currently matter. Like
the railguns do matter, definitely.
Yeah. So if you had a single bunker, let's say on Hurston, that has like a 80% chance to spawn a couple of those in those containers, then people
fights there. Yep.
Yeah.
What if they only spawn at Jumptown when Jumptown's active?
Or that,
just whatever. You could do anything. Because right now, you're right. The only there's maybe like snipers and railguns are the only guns that are like that fit that criteria of what I just explained. They're unique, they're special, and they're better.
Yeah.
Right?
There's one more thing that we have so much space that is not utilized in between planets, like actual space.
Yeah.
And we have those quantum introduction events that you get, and you have a caterpillar that's broken up.
Very rarely, yes.
Very rare, yeah. But what if that caterpillar, what if it was not a quantum introduction? What if the caterpillar spawned a random dynamic event when there's a lot of people around, and those people either get a marker or maybe with a ping, somebody finds it, and then everybody gets a notification. So, hey, something's happening here. Go there. There's a caterpillar. There's a lot of loot on it. Maybe it's crates. Maybe it's quantanium ore or refined quantanium ore. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's whatever, weapons. It could be random. And then again, people will go there and fight over that caterpillar, right?
Well, what's kind of crazy and what's really frustrating about 319 is they did that. And what I love about it, too, is that they made you pay $150K to go to it and to get access to it. So you fight over it, except there's no unique weapons on it. There is there is valuable. There has the possibility of being valuable cargo. What I think the example you're giving is it should always be, right?
Yeah.
For like the DayZ example is there's always good loot at those things, right?
It doesn't need to be the highest tier, but like it could be like one of the like currently it's gold, Agricium, and like Contanium is the best one, so it could be like Agricium.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gold, Bexlite, Terranite. Just
Terranite. Sorry.
Just so if you're looting it for yourselves, Quantanium, like world of its own, gold, Bexlite, Terranite, and they're sort of in that order depending on where you sell them. But there's also like these crazy other ones at the Salvage Rex. Have you seen that stuff yet? There's a Gasping Weevil. It's the same stuff that you get at Security Post Correa. Gasping Weevil eggs, Osoian hides, but they're in SCU containers. So Osoian hides is 220,000 per container, dude.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's there.
I did 2 of those missions on stream a couple of days ago, and I couldn't sell them.
And you got
20 minutes.
Oh, that thing. But there's also funny stories. So anybody who's watching this, I've seen it be complained about a lot in my chat. Excuse me. We were talking about that problem, and apparently the mission devs, if you find like gold or Quantanium or any material in the salvage missions, they accidentally marked the boxes as the unrefined version, so you can't sell them. They're not commodities. So they're aware of it. They fixed it whenever we get 319.1, I guess, or 320, whatever it is. And it's going to be fixed, but it's currently garbage right now. But
Can you not refine that though?
Because it has to be from a mining ship.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's no place you can't put them in the mining ship anywhere. So it just screws it up right now. But the thing that I was going to say is when we were talking about that, I asked them, "Hey, why is there no ore in the moles bags? Why are the guns the same on the like why is it just stock ships? Why are you choosing ships that don't have components on them basically?" And it all came down to we didn't have enough time. It's all things we want to do. We didn't have enough time because 319 had to come out.
Yeah, like because they already had the. I think today you had an Andromeda that you salvaged, right? So they already.
When you
they
look,
already
it's
had
all.
those,
It's not even the Rex. It's all the ships that are used for the bounty missions.
Yeah.
Except for the Mole and Prospector, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the MSR or whatever. But, okay, so what is like a high effort thing for PvE that you would like to see?
High effort thing for PvE.
What is there anything that is high effort that you like?
Currently,
for me,
not at all.
Really? I would say Siege of Orison.
Oh, you know what? Okay. Sorry. Yes. I was ignoring dynamic events. I was thinking of like just like current missions. Siege definitely. You can argue big time. Same thing with Xenothreat, even though we've done it over and over and over again. It is a mission that like, hey, we went and we wanted to have everybody doing everything. We could argue the implementation isn't great, but I think we can argue the implementation isn't great at Siege as well. I hate Siege.
No. Yeah.
I hate
it. It's literally the worst fucking events because it could be so good, but it's not because the game is so broken. Yeah. But
for me, I just think that it bothers me that people can cheese it, right? Go really fast and finish it when it's supposed to be like this big, long, drawn out thing.
Yeah.
Siege is probably the best example of what could be.
There is one that had like a lot of potential for me at least, and that's the Reclaimer, like the Deep Space Reclaimer mission. That one for me was, oh my god, they're actually doing some actual like investigation / PvE things, and
they do the DayZ loot there too.
Yeah,
except it's not random.
You do it once, and then the second time you realize it's always going to be the same. Yeah. So, for you, what would you like to see when it comes to PvE?
Well, I think from my MMO experiences is like raids are things that you're going to do and they're always going to be the same, and you're going to do them over and over again and have a chance at high loot drops, like really valuable loot drops. Will that be a thing in Star Citizen? I don't know. Is that a thing I would want in Star Citizen? Maybe. But I don't think most of the community would like something like that. So I don't know if it'll be something they do. But then again, most of the community just watches sunsets. So I'm not really concerned about what they think when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, if you want to talk about really high effort and really like it's global events like storyline in the game, that's the kind of PvE stuff that I think MMOs are so unique and so special for, is because they're games that last years and years and years, the devs have an opportunity to tell a story about their world that at a really grand scale. And then for me, since I'm a loot goblin, what I also loved about those events is that there was always special, unique, one-time drops at those events ever. And they'll never happen again. And then you have your memories from that event, and they're also super valuable. So you can kind of show them off to players. Hey, I was here, you weren't. It's not really rubbing it in their face. The way I said that is weird, is I was there. I have this memento from that thing. Yeah. Check out this cool thing I have. Don't you think this thing is cool? Right? For example, don't you think this thing is cool? You don't have this thing. I do. You don't, right? You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a Banu Cube.
It is.
That's
the Banu Cube. Yeah.
That's the Banu Cube?
Yeah.
I never saw it.
This is how you get it. Yeah, the code is right behind there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, nice. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. But it's not about rubbing it in anybody's face. It's about having a special item that nobody else has, right? So, like, I want to make that clear. Is like, I'm not putting that thing up there and showing it to you because, oh, hey, I have this thing and you don't. It's that I have this thing that a lot of people don't have, and I get to go like, wow, that's so cool.
But then again, that you didn't get that through the game, right? You went to
that's not the example to give. That's the only fucking thing that we have in this game besides the Vandal Mask that they totally screwed up, right? The Vandal Mask is a great example, even though it was cheesed. Even though it was cheesed to like no end, you know, I got it legitimately, but even though other people didn't, it didn't matter because it was a time-gated thing. It was that couple weeks or that week or whatever, that thing happened. Like, that's other examples of, for me, like, low effort content isn't always bad. That was pretty low effort, but that added so much value to the game for me, right? Was something like that. That was obviously a PvE mission, but you could do, or PvP mission, but you could do PvP stuff as well.
And a bunch of people cheated, right?
Yeah, but it didn't matter in that case because even it for the example that I'm giving now about having an item that a lot of people don't have, right? Like the people who, even if they cheated and got it that way, they still have a unique item that, you know, all the people who backed the game after that didn't get until last year. Thank you, community team. You're great. We love you. Whoever made the idea up. I'm pretty sure it was a community idea, but yeah.
I think you, like, how do you say that? Struck the nail on the head with the storyline thing there.
Yeah.
Because storylines, and like, especially if you have like different endings or different approaches, not even different endings, but like if you could do like the mission or a couple of missions in the storyline, like stealthy, but you can also go Rambo style and all of that, that like gives you replayability, right? And currently, none of the PvE missions that we have actually give you any replayability, right? It's like the bunker missions.
I kind of got that though. It was weird. You know how they like had the new NPCs, like, hey, they're better or whatever.
Yeah.
They I walked behind one, it couldn't see me. I walked in front of it, and it reacted right away. So I was like, oh, are we kind of gonna be able, like, obviously this thing, these things are trash still. But it was like,
I was about to say, like, it's probably because our standards are too low, so we're just like amazed with the NPCs reacting to us.
Yeah, no, it's definitely because the standards are too low. Trust me. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe one day this will be better soon. I had like a glimmer of hope for a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But for me, PvE wise, I think like the really high effort stuff would be that. But in general, it would be challenge, like creating challenge and then going, tying all the way back to what we were talking about earlier with needing, you do the mundane low effort stuff to find the loot. For example, running around in DayZ, right? Going back to the DayZ example, extremely boring and worthless to do, but it's purposeful, so it's not boring and it's fucking awesome when you find something, right? So that's why it's good. You do all that stuff to get the things you need to kill that, Ninetales boss raid, and then the Ninetales boss raid drops a better shield, potentially a better weapon, a better quantum drive. So you have a purpose to do it, and then you do it again and again. Replayability, right? It ties everything into what we just talked about.
For example,
so for me, it'd be like bosses.
Hide? Did you say hide?
Soyan hide, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
the
I know that you're working on like bugs. Well, like bugs, like spiders and shit. Not fixing bugs, but giving us more bugs.
Sure.
So those are probably going to go in the caves. So why not have that hide and all of that, like organic stuff, be inside the loot boxes in those caves? So you gotta raid the cave with a bunch of spiders and kill them. So you can, it's like a classic MMO approach, right?
Yeah, dude. And you know what? When you say that, it's so funny because what a missed opportunity the cave missions have been, where they had their day too for a little while. Like you would go down to a cave and all the NPCs would have like Hadanite on them. The boxes would have Hadanite. Obviously they're not a threat. They wouldn't, you just go through, clear them easily. But then they kind of took all that out of there, and it would just be nice to be like, yeah, this is this cave is this operation, and this is where you get these things, like, I don't know. That's sort of more of what I want to start seeing. I really want to start seeing game knowledge matter. Like, hey, I know that this thing is here. Hey, you're looking for this component, go over here, kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tango just said something in chat. He said finding a box of nails is like hitting the loto.
Yeah. Yeah. We get that with like railguns now, and that's it. Your cam just froze. You still there?
Yeah, Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. You're good. It's back.
My internet died for some reason.
You're perfect. You're perfect now. You're all good.
So he said finding a box of nails is like hitting the loto, and it's like it is like that in DayZ. And you just said one thing that I agree with. It is a bit boring running around and trying to find loot, but also if you do not know if there's enemy around, if there's players around, you're constantly gonna be like scared.
Yeah, you still have to look around the corners, right?
Yeah, you're tense as fuck.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
So I think we're missing something like that in Star Citizen. Also, one more thing that I believe we're missing is having some like, so for example in DayZ, Tarkov, and all of those kinds of games, if you're more skilled than the other players, you can win a fight against like 5 people.
Yeah.
If you know how to reposition, if you know how to take angles and all of that, you will win a fight. In Star Citizen, like if there's like more people than you're dead. You might as well just like backspace and that's it. So that's one more thing that I like when it comes to PvP. I'm really missing.
We used to have that with PvP, and I'll say this from like you were a good pilot. I'm not, and
I was okay. I wasn't really.
Yeah. Yeah, so I said good. You're not like maybe you were like the toppest of tier, right? But the for ship wise, I think for FPS is probably you could probably 1v5 if depending on player skill or something like that, right? Because most people are pretty bad in this game. But as far as ships go, it is difficult. Like the Zergs just win, and it's not great. But when they changed things more recently, where it was like a little bit easier to aim and stuff like that, I felt that I can at least be serviceable in the game. And I think we do have to get to a place where it's as easy to understand and get into fights and have some success as it is now, but then definitely the skill gap up at the top maybe needs to get a little wider or something like that. But we used to have it back in the day where like the best pilots in Star Citizen were like 1v10ing people, and it was just ridiculous. It was like,
yeah, it was like that, like
yeah,
up until 312, because I
yeah.
was I had a lot of fun back then,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Like you would have like
And I
Port
didn't.
you would have like 5 people, 10 people in Port Olisar that were just like killing people, and you take out a Buccaneer with like C788s on the top, and you just
Oh
like,
god, yeah.
yeah,
Those guns.
it was fun, and
Yeah.
like you felt like a fucking ninja flying like in between them and just destroying them. But like currently, it's not really possible to do that anymore.
Yeah. And I don't know. For me, it's like we'll see what they. It's so annoying because we're still waiting for this dumb ship combat rework thing. That's all. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, we know that there's all these problems with ship combat, but like, we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs because they're not going to do anything about it. They won't do anything about it until they do their master modes thing. They're not doing their master mode thing for us. They're doing it just for themselves in Squadron 42, and we're just sitting here. It sucks, but I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that's like one more thing to like add to all of this. Like even if they added high effort content like Siege of Orison, for example, there is so many like core systems of this game that are broken that it doesn't really matter in the end, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get an event that could be amazing, but then like everybody's gonna teleport. You're gonna shoot a guy and like you're gonna get a no rag a couple of times, and you're gonna die to an NPC or to a player or whatever. So it's like, why are we even talking about this right now?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, I think we're talking about it because we want the game to be better, and I'm like that's what a lot of people will sit here and think that this is just like a bitching session, but it's really just it's always feedback going out to them is always important. And dude, I sat here and bitched about mining for literally 4 years. And then what they did is amazing, right? And I don't think it had anything to do with me, but the idea of that they still care and that they still want to make it better, and we know that they do. I don't think their marketing team gives a shit whether they do or they don't. They're just going to keep selling spaceships, like they're doing their own thing. But there are people there that are literally trying to make the game better and actually care about it, which is awesome. No, he didn't. Don't look at chat. They're stupid.
What?
Chad told Grumpy that he lit his shirt on fire. Now he's looking to see if he's on fire. Yeah. I mean, like for me, there's people out there that are like finally making this game better, man. Like it and while nothing matters, it is so nice to see. Like last time we talked, I think on the podcast was about crafting, right?
Yeah.
We still don't have like actual like huge crafting systems. We're still just crafting fucking multi-tools. What I said when we talked was you got to keep going with this. Every patch you got to add to it. They didn't. Surprise, surprise.
There was like we fought because I said that we're not gonna get anything in the next patch, and you were like, "Nah." Oh, Lola. And you said like, "Nah, they're probably gonna like add more stuff, and like they never do.
They never do. It's so ridiculous. And
you know what? In DayZ,
they always do.
They always do, and like you have such a it's simple. Like whenever you craft, it's the same animation, but it never takes you out of the game. And you like, for example, you have like those huge ass containers that you can craft, so you can store more and more loot inside. So for that, you chop like doors and car parts into scrap metal. Then you convert that scrap metal into sheet metal, and then you like combine 20 sheet metal and 20 sheet metal to make a container.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's like some depth to it, and you need to know the recipes and all of that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we need that in this game. Like, it's pretty crazy that you can't craft like empty SEU boxes in like the Reclaimer, right? Like that should have just been like the next thing they did. They just didn't do it. But I will say that what I see with mining tells me that they are thinking about it, and that they're like, all right, we are positioning ourselves to do this correctly. And it's like, you know, if you do these salvage wrecks, there's all these random ass drugs with all these crazy names that you can't sell, you can't do anything with. They ended up at these missions as well, and they're not supposed to be there. Yeah, they might be there still now. I don't remember, but in the PTU they were there. All these like Rush or something was like it sounds like they're precursors to drugs. So like you put all these things together and you make maize. You do all of this and you make that. So it sounds like there's crafting ideas that are already happening that we just haven't heard about yet because they're not ready to share them.
Collect enough iron and you can build weapons and all of that.
Sure, but if all the weapons feel the same, none of this shit fucking matters, man. Like that's what it's got to start with.
So I don't want to give him ideas, but don't you think that opens a possibility to like sell a new ship, started crafting ship?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they've talked about. I think they've said something like they like casually mentioned a crafting ship or something. Maybe it was a leak or something. I don't know, but they're.
I didn't hear about that.
I think it might have been at that Con 42 thing. I can't remember though. But
okay.
I think that's going to be a thing. And I go pie in the sky, like high effort when it comes to crafting for me is we start going into a little bit of Eve, where say what's your favorite ship to fly?
Currently?
Yeah.
I don't know. MSR.
Okay. So say you blow up your MSR, somebody blows it up, and you have to make an insurance claim. Well, when that insurance claim goes out, then Crusader puts out a job that they need to fill a MSR, right? You need one, somebody needs to fill it. The actual like main company can fill it, or its subsidiaries, or its what are they called? Franchises. What if I owned a Crusader Industries franchise, like I had a factory, and you built the ship? What if I built the ship and then I just sell it to Crusader to fill your insurance, right? Like as ships are blowing up around the world, these buy orders come up because that's what Eve all is, right? It's like buy and sell orders. These buy orders pop up and players fill them, like and. That's what I
mean. That would be amazing, but that's like so far in the future.
Of course. Yeah. But we're talking about what would be high effort to me, and who knows if that'll even be a thing, right? But I believe that all players should be able to craft everything. The NPCs will do it as well, but we should have the opportunity to fill those orders if we wanted to. So like it doesn't have to be Eve, because I think Eve is probably going to be a little bit too much for like the player base that Star Citizen's probably looking to grab, but giving the option to players would be really nice as well. And, going from there, crafting components that cannot be bought in stores, that kind of stuff.
That would be cool. Like, well, I think it's possible to do it even now. Well, not right now, but like once we get like a bit more complex crafting, so why not have like weapon stores that are going to be resupplied by the players?
Exactly. If they run out of supply,
you can either buy stuff from like another planet and carry it there, or you do it on your own and you craft those things so you can make more money, right?
Yeah. And if nobody does it, the background simulation can do it. It just does it at a much slower pace than we could, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Then you will need blueprints and all that, right?
Yep. And where do you get the blueprints, Grumpy? Where do you find the blueprints? By looting, right?
Yeah.
Like and I mean,
and suddenly everything has a purpose. Like you have a purpose as a player
yeah.
in the game.
Tarkov did it so way more simply and way better too than even DayZ. Well, not better, excuse me, but way more simply than DayZ, in the sense of like when the last time I played Tarkov like pretty regularly, it was right before the hideout and then right after the hideout. And right before the hideout, it was very clear what items you would pick up. It was like, these are valuable, these are not. The moment that the hideouts came out, everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
In Star Citizen, nothing has a purpose. So you're just kind of like, what am I doing here? Like what you just said before, why are we playing this game? And it's just, and the only reason to play is to pretend that it's a real video game. Like that's the feeling that I get. It's to LARP.
Yeah.
Because we hope that it'll be something. But yeah.
I was so hyped when I got the new PC 319 dropped. I didn't like watch any videos or like try PTU at all because my PC died.
Yeah.
And I was so hyped to hop in, and then I went to the there was like salvage missions, and I got the weapons off of like whatever. I think it was the it doesn't matter, like Connie, whatever. And then I realized that you can't store them in the inventory. And we talked about this yesterday. It's probably because marketing said no, we got to release it right now. But it was such a letdown, dude.
Well, no,
I was
they actually mentioned they mentioned it. I don't like the answer as much necessarily, but like the pulling a weapon into an inventory, I'm okay with, but pulling it out, how? Right, the magic inventory, like, okay, so for example, you have a size 4 weapon and you pull it into your C2's, global inventory, big ass, magical thing. Where does it go when you pull it out? It just
on the floor.
It just flops on the ground. So like their argument is they didn't want to do that.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know, because it looks weird.
Every fucking game does it like that, though. Like,
I know.
It's again with like,
but the items aren't twice the size of a player. The difference is the items aren't 2 or 3 times the size of the player. They're doing it with small items. They don't do it with the big ones.
I know.
So it's like,
I guess that you can't pick it up and throw it into the inventory because it's like a bit too big. I get that, but like dropping out of the inventory, I don't get it. Like,
well, you can put it in the inventories, Grumpy, of like the larger ships. They have large enough inventories to store weapons and like mining lasers and shit like that.
Yeah, I know.
If you buy them from a shop and put them there.
Yes.
But
you cannot interact with them once they're on the ground.
They don't like this magical appear and disappear thing. And
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, because we're talking about low effort, and it doesn't need to look perfect all the time. But if you make it work, it's a lot better for the player, right?
Yeah, because like then you can use those.
Sorry, I want to interrupt because chat reminded me exactly why they said they didn't want to do it. And this is so shitty, but the reason they didn't want to do it is because players were blocking doors and stuff with the bigger components.
Well, players are still doing that with the like gurneys and stuff like that. So
yeah, but it's like bad players are going to be bad. You got to find a way to deal with them.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And it's like it affects everybody super negatively then on their full game experience. And their solution, I don't like their solution as much either, because their solution is waiting for the cargo elevators.
Oh my god, yeah, we're still waiting for the cargo elevators.
But even if you wait for cargo elevators, how do you deal with that out in the field?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I would be completely fine if you could store those weapons in the ship inventory and not get them out of the ship inventory once you're in the hangar, right?
Yeah.
And you would just have that ship, which is like full with weapons or whatever, and then just like toss them around and use them in the ships that you want, and that's it. That will be fine.
It is, you know, I found something like I think that they have some ideas to try to resolve this is when I was pulling bags off of a mole on a
Mhm.
station pad, when I left a certain area, my tractor beam stopped working. It like only
Yeah,
worked within a like little window under the mole.
yeah,
But yeah, it's so annoying. There's so many like little things. Like nothing is a for me personally, nothing is a silver bullet that will solve everything other than making actual FPS, weapon, armor, and so on, backpacks maybe, progression that is
mhm,
found specifically through the game, and then the same thing with ship components. Same thing, weapons, quantum drives, shields, all that stuff. All once you create those progression in the game, then you create these little pools of areas, like you had said,
yeah.
that'll make those areas exciting to go to.
And you don't even need quanta for that.
No,
It
you
doesn't
don't need shit.
that
You
complex.
have the
Yeah,
exact game we have now. You just change the values of all the items we have in the game right now,
yeah.
and problem solved. They just don't want metas. And like fuck me, dude. Like what you're taking away all the progression possible in the game
Yeah.
by saying we don't want a weapon that's more powerful than another. It drives me nuts.
And then you have a Gladius that slaps everything.
Right now, apparently, there's something wrong with it. I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can
And,
like straightforward and too fast. That and the and the Hornet, believe it or not, some bug
oh,
with it.
really?
Yeah, the Hornet's like a meta ship today, but it's
Amazing. I
bugged.
wanna try it.
Yep, it's my favorite chip. What's your favorite
Yeah.
chip? Like as far as combat?
Um, favorite looking ship, the Hornet,
Yep.
and favorite ship to fly in is the Cartual.
Yeah, that thing's wild. Have you tried the Fury yet?
I have, but only on Arcorp because I couldn't. Like, I went to 3 different platinum base to spawn it, and I couldn't spawn it at all.
Yeah, you
It was
asked that,
either
and I was like,
yeah,
I spawned it, no problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like switched two servers and 3 different areas, and I couldn't spawn them.
Mm.
I don't know why.
I think I agree with one of the guys in chat. Buccaneer's probably my favorite looking combat ship,
Yeah,
but the
it's like you feel like Batman when you're flying it.
yeah, but the Hornet is my like that's the one I always wanted, and I like the Saber too. But yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of them. The anything else is the Mole. The Mole feels like a ship in the Expanse where you can live on it, and you and your 4 crewmates just hang out there and just you know you're out there working hard.
don't you want an Argo warship, like a gunship?
No, I want Argo to be like industrial only.
I mean, it doesn't need to be Argo, but I want like that rude and boxy and ugly design, but like with a ton of fucking guns, so you get offended when you see it, basically.
Look at this guy in this box. Yeah, that's actually funny. Dude, I had the craziest PES moment yesterday. It actually was like, whoa, it worked. Because maybe we talked about this a little bit. The idea of persistence is like, all right, well now they're backtracking a lot of it, and a lot of people in the community are getting like pretty pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what solutions you would have at a location like a bunker where you're constantly having players repeat. You have to clear it. You know, in the early days of PES, it was just bodies filled, FPS at 0, and you couldn't even walk around.
Yeah.
So like that's what would happen if you had PES. So it makes no sense. You obviously have to clean up things there. But so I think that that's just people getting mad at something for no reason. But yesterday, I find 130,000 mass rock with 30% quantanium in it.
Holy shit!
Like Jesus rock, right?
Yeah.
We set up for an hour, 4 moles, because we're all with the surge components. Like we're gonna need to nuclear charge this thing to break it. There's a stat. I'll talk about this for a second. There's a stat that determines where the green zone is on the little bar. So sometimes it's really low, sometimes really high, sometimes it's in the middle. This one was like pretty low. And we geared up one mole that makes the green zone bigger, but the green zone expands from the middle. So it was really low. So we didn't need to make the green zone very big for it to hit the bottom.
Oh.
When it hit the bottom,
that was good.
It charges automatically. So we set up 4 moles. One mole broke 130K mass rock easily with 0 effort. Okay. So this thing breaks and then we 30K. Bang. Fuck. We lost everything, right? Shit. Think again. We wait a little while. We leave party and I join the server. I get back in the same server that crashed.
That's lucky, actually.
It's not. You just have to wait. We had to wait 30 minutes though. So like a player won't do that normally, right? So this is broken because the server doesn't come up right away. Like, you know, hey, going back to DayZ server goes down for maintenance. 2 minutes later, you're ready to go, right? Not the case here. Took a while. I waited 30 minutes because I was doing something else. I don't know if that's how long you have to wait. 30 minutes, get back in the same server. You can take a mission to get to your ship that's out there. You can create a service beacon and have somebody bring you to it. But we know that we kind of knew where we were. So we went to similar location, but used that beacon to get back to it. We find it. We find all 4 moles in the air. We find the rock broken exactly the way it was. Even the gadget that was on the fucking rock was there. That broke.
Amazing.
We break everything up, bring it to the refinery, and sell it.
Amazing.
Bang. PES. So it was like there. But then matchmaking to get into the same server guaranteed every time? No. You know, and like when my body died 2 days ago, my body wasn't there. You know, there's like a fucking million other problems. But man, did I have this like moment of like what could be if things worked well. It was pretty wild.
That's what Star Citizen does for you. Like every time something actually works, you're just like, oh my God, this is going to be a good.
Yeah. Like, look at what it could be, dude.
You know what? I think that's like why people are pissed off with PES because for me, for example, I know that you need server cleanup. Like, it's so obvious. But
my
then
coffee
again,
mug should not be there. Like, in the forest.
But then again, they were promising that for fucking years that I was like, shit, maybe they're actually going to do that. Like, I'm hoping that this is going to be a new technology that they invent and everything is going to work even with that. Although, how is it going to work with physics? And all? It doesn't matter. It's Chris. They're going to do something. It's going to be amazing. And then, like, server cleanup, because you need to do that.
Well, do you know what I noticed? The server number that I was on was server 610.
Okay.
So I'm not convinced that there are 610 servers running at any one time. So what I think is probably happening is they don't necessarily need to do server cleanup because things stream in and things stream out on the server, right? And they store it, and when people go there, they put it back. So that's kind of like their cleanup. It's already happening. But what I think happens is a server gets into a state in which it is no longer recoverable. And then they have to delete that server and make a new one. And then there's your cleanup. There's your PES gone. There's everything that you wanted gone, right? Like, I don't think we can do what we do now. Again, going back to DayZ example of joining a specific server and always going to that server every day. That's the server I play on. I don't think you and I can say, hey, we want to group up together. Yo, what server do you play on? Oh, I play on server 100. All right, I'll head over there. Right?
Yeah.
When is that day going to be a thing? Because you don't just need matchmaking to hopefully get you back in the same server. You need to make it so that server always exists. And I'm not sure that's what's happening. And that's why it feels like PES isn't a thing.
There's one more thing with PES, and that's like the physics. Yeah, like they do stream out things that are not like when you have no players around.
Sure.
But once you come back into the zone and there's like 300 boxes on top of each other. I don't know if you played 318 when that happened, like in the P2. Jesus fucking Christ! Like
it's insane.
The tick rate drops to 0.5 on the server, and the server is basically dead. So yeah, they had to do that. Like every game has to do it, but the issue is that they said something else, and in the end, we got like what every other game has, right? Which is okay, but the issue is like why people are angry is because they thought it would be like something completely new and something
you got what every player has in some areas, in high travel areas, but you have what they like. The example that I gave is you got what they said in not at outposts, planet like cities or bunkers. Like I got the experience that they said we would have.
Yeah.
But you don't get it at an outpost because you need to land on the pad.
That's completely normal. The thing I was talking about is that we tested out PES and we destroyed 2 C2s full of cargo in a crater.
Oh, and they deleted the boxes. Yeah, dude.
Next patch, yeah, they started deleting the boxes because they was like destroying the servers.
Yeah, and that's less of a PES issue in my opinion, and it's more of why did you just make one SCU size boxes and why don't we have bigger ones? But and they teased it on a sneak peek, and I was hoping, fingers crossed, that we were going to see it in 319, but no.
32 SU boxes should come with the Hull C, right? Because it transports the 32 SU boxes, and then you have the SRV that's going to like grab those boxes, and you have
fingers crossed.
So that's. But then again, are you going to be able to load up those boxes, those containers, into like C2s?
That bigger tractor beam or ship-based tractor beams have to come with it.
Yeah, but like, are they going to make snap points for those containers? Like,
if they don't,
work like that?
Bro, if they don't, what are they doing? Right? Like that's the thing that drives me nuts about them is like you got the system in place. You do not put these things in unless they fit the current good example. Like the 1SU boxes, the way I don't know how you feel about them. I'm very happy with the moving and the way you snap.
It's much better now.
Yeah.
It's really good now.
Yeah. And the only issue that we would have about it is that they're all just 1SU size boxes. So if you pirate a big ship, it's so tedious. If you cargo haul and you want to move something around or whatever, it's super tedious. Removing the tedium would be great, but don't hope. I just, how would they not do the snapping? I mean, you have to.
In the end, you will probably not be able to move those 32 SU containers with a multi-tool.
No, I mean, they've stated that over and over again, that the current, everything we're doing now with the multi-tool, we will not be able to do.
Yeah.
It's just as a placeholder because they want to make sure that we have good content, which is so funny because they don't do that in so many other aspects of the game. Make those exceptions everywhere, man. It's okay. Just make the game good.
I would love if our multi-tool like that we have right now, like the tractor beam, would give us a way to like grab a couple of things at the same time. That would like fix the issue of moving a bunch of boxes. So if you could, like, let's say pick up 5 boxes bulk, that would be like a game changer, honestly.
Yeah, like if you can like scroll wheel.
Yeah.
Like, like before you turn it on and it picks up like a group and has them in a square. Maybe not 5, 4 would be the best example because it's a cube.
Yeah.
Right? It would grab like a cube of things, and then maybe it would grab a cube of whatever, maybe a rectangle after that. Something like that would be cool. Yeah, maybe that's what bigger ones could do. But I don't know. We've obviously we're not on the. Go ahead. We're not on the topic, but I don't care if we are or if we aren't. So I was just gonna make that comment.
Just 2 things about DayZ. On a server that we play on, we left a Mustang that we didn't need, a car. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
In front of our base, and it's there for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And it's not moving. Like, it's physicalized. You can it has physics. You can ram it. You can move it around, but it's just there.
And theoretically, in Star Citizen, it would be the same if you always got back on the same server.
Yeah.
And that server didn't disappear.
Last wipe, we you remember the video that you saw where we killed like 4 guys and got their truck and all that shit?
Yeah.
So we were scared that somebody heard the shots and that like people will come and do the same to us. So I used the lockpick and I locked the doors on that hangar until we like gather all the loot. Those doors were locked all the way up until the wipe, and it took like a month. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's really cool.
Can people unlock them?
Yeah,
with lockpicks. Okay.
Yeah,
it's just people came by, don't have a lockpick, and they're like, "Shit, I wonder what's in there."
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff is so cool. I don't know, man. I love these kind of conversations. I love just shooting the shit and talking about what we love about games and what we don't like about games, or specifically what we think Star Citizen can improve on. And I do think people like really hear it, and I do think there's always going to be comments in YouTube, because it's just what it is, of people like, oh, you're just complaining or whatever. And it's like, no, man, we're just talking about this is passion, and this is love for video games.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's what this is.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I think that the developers actually recognize that. Like
when
you tone it down, because
I have more devs in my chat than most.
Yeah. I was an asshole for a long time because that's how I roll.
Yeah, like, I mean, I am too.
You think that I was abrasive and all of that. That's because like language barrier and all of that. But like in the past couple of months, I had a couple of devs like contact me, and they were really interested in what I think, and I think that like this kinds of videos that you're doing and that I'm doing really helps out the development like a lot.
Yeah,
because it's not only, oh, this is shit, but like here's how to fix it. And I'm not going to be an armchair developer, but I can give you an idea, and if you like the idea, you can take it, or you just like improve that idea to something that's going to be better for the game.
The best thing to do is what we did today, is give examples of games that you love and why it works. I'll always go back to this. I've mentioned this many times on this podcast and on my live stream. 2 former developers from CIG were in my Discord, and they were just talking, and they were discussing about feedback and what is good feedback and what is bad feedback. So many people in the Star Citizen community do the bad feedback. They do I know what I'm talking about. You should do exactly this, this, and this. I'll fix the problem for you. No. The developer needs to know what the problem is and why the game isn't fun.
See, that's like basic human psychology. When the game is in development, they think that they're going to use their idea so they can like boast and like tell people, oh, this is my idea, and they took it. Like, yeah, that's why people do it. At least that's what I think.
Maybe. I mean, like I sat there and I made videos about mining left and right, and like why I don't. Like, and I think I started out with, you should do this, that, and the other thing. And I think the one that really resonated with, I don't know if it ever resonated with them, but as far as the community went, it was the one where I was like, hey, here's mining, right? Here's what it is. And here's why none of it makes sense. And here's why it makes sense everywhere else and in other games. And it's like, all we need to do are these things. And it's like, but they can do them however they want. It's just that's kind of like the way we need to go more. And because there's also like going back into what we just like the conversation we just started getting into, I feel like there's probably more developers that hang around here, because what value are they getting from a bunch of people who are having a ship meetup, right? Yeah. They're not learning on how to improve their situation for them, other than improving frames and improving, maybe parties situations, and honestly making those situations a safer place for players. I think that's actually something that needs to improve. I know I get some kickback on that a lot of the time when I mention that, but I truly believe it. But yeah, I think if you're not willing to, like, anybody who thinks that you just have to be, you can be friendly with somebody and still be critical of them and what they're doing. And
you can still love the game and be critical of it.
Like you could say, this is stupid. Like I'll give the best example. I did it live on stream. When mining first came out, not just the issue that you had with ship weapons existed. We had the same issue with the little modules that are this big, dude. the modules that are the most essential thing to mining, the only way to get them into the game world was to go into your VMA, put them on a mining laser, fly out of Armistice Zone, pull them off, put them in your ship, and repeat. And you needed, for a big mining mission, 40, 50, right? We didn't know. We were still trying to learn everything, so we needed a bunch. And I Torsten, the guy who like made the mining thing, was here. And I go, I got to ask you something, dude. I love everything so far, but there's one thing that I got a real issue about. And I just said, why am I not able to take these things out? And he said, because they're too big. Like they're mass, they're too heavy. And I go, but I can carry a 1/8 SCU box of tungsten in my hands right now. That, with everything you just did, that's huge mass. So there's no argument there. So like, do the right thing. And this was on like a Thursday or Friday. Monday morning, it was there. Right? And it was like,
actually really convenient, but yeah.
And I just like called them, like, I don't know if I called him on his bullshit, but whoever made the decision on that, making them that way, we just like said, no, that's bullshit. And there's no way that's just, this is a horrible experience. And there's a simple way to make it better. I don't care if we have to drop them on the ground, which we do. I can't pick them up and put them on. I can pull them off with my hands, but I can't put them on. Okay, that's fine. I can still drop them on the ground. And it now takes 2-3 hours to set up into 5 minutes instantly with one small change.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think some people would be afraid to say something like that because they want to just praise and praise and praise and consider, normal humans as gods. Torsten's not a god. He's smarter than I am. He's a better game developer than you and I, obviously. Yeah. But he's not a god, and you could talk to these people like normal, and it's probably going to be a better situation for you.
Exactly. I mean, it's all about like sharing the ideas, and that's why I love doing YouTube and why I love like interacting with the community, and in the end interacting with the devs. So before, whenever I had an idea, I would like make a video about that. It would like maybe you would react to it, and then like the community would start talking about that, and in the end there could be some good change that like came out of that video. But now like I can say that like I guess you are privileged and I'm privileged that we have those developers that actually want to like talk to us and hear our thoughts on some like issues.
I mean, it's definitely a privilege, but I feel like it is probably earned privilege.
Yeah, but like compared to other people, other what's it called, other players, right? Because you can't.
Yes.
It's so rare that like they like read out every post on Spectrum and respond over there. So in the end, it's really good that like, because I don't know how other content creators do it, but I know that I'm constantly talking to my community. I'm pretty sure you're constantly talking to your community, even like maybe not in Discord, but through Twitch and all of that.
Sure.
And you are hearing like their concerns, and you are communicating those concerns to the developers, right?
That's why I made this podcast, Grumpy. Yeah. This podcast came out of the idea of, God damn, man, every podcast that I see is like what we're doing today. Right? Like sometimes I utilize this podcast to interact with my friends a little bit more, because here's the deal. Content creators are very much, they got to be focused on what they're doing. Yeah. If they're not, and they're focused on everybody else all the time, they're not moving forward. They're not progressing. They're not, getting better at their craft or whatever. Right. So most content creators are very selfish and focused on what they're doing. Selfish, not in a bad in the bad way, but just focused on what they're doing. And I like to bring my friends on and just catch up, and this is my way of finding time to do it in a lot of ways. I can do it. Great. Yeah, and if I could do it while I'm creating content at the same time, like perfect. But the reason I made this podcast, man, I'm looking at all these podcasts, 5 of the same people every week saying the same things every week.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well, I have a small platform, but it's bigger than nothing. So let me make this podcast and make it like a sports radio show where people can call in that don't have a stream, that don't have a platform, and they could share their opinions too. Unfortunately, I think what ends up happening is that your audience is going to agree with you more often than they're not, and it still is too much of an echo chamber. I wish there was a way to solve that issue. I don't have an answer for it, but that was the reason for this podcast in the first place, was
but like, that
to
one
try to
time
level out the playing field, you know?
But that one time when you get like a reasonable conversation with a reasonable guy that does not agree with you,
It's great.
that is not from the echo, it's fucking amazing.
It's so good.
I did a couple of those kinds of podcasts before my PC died, and I can't wait to continue.
I try so hard to find those. And I always try to give the example of like the other side of my argument. Like, do you fit in this argument? Please call in. And I'm not calling in to beat you down, right? Like, I don't want you to call in so I can beat you up and say how you're stupid. It's like, I want to hear why you feel that way and why you think that that's important. Because that's where I start coming with the ideas. You start learning about, well, yeah, man, like you start hearing about all these players that are just constantly getting griefed. Not the right word, but constantly getting griefed by players. And it's like, dude, we got to do something about this. It's not that the players are griefing. It's that there's no place for players to just hang out that outside of a regular landing zone, right? So it's like hearing everyone's perspectives are really important. And
and like it opens your eyes and your mind towards like, okay, so there are different kinds of people. Like one of the best podcasts I was on was like with you on Space Tomatoes podcast when Jerome was there. I realized that like Jerome came, like you told me, I didn't know that he came from Second Life, and that's what he needs from Star Citizen. Yeah, and that's great. But like, who am I to say? Well, no, you're wrong. We need like better things. No, he has like his own opinions. Yeah. He has his own like play style, and he has like a different perspective of like what he wants the game to be.
Yes, every sector of the community, you'll find like, okay, I joined. Hannah might still be here. I joined Hannah, Moist Noodle, Space Cutlet, and their crew pirating the other day, and I jump in the middle of their play session, and all they're doing is talking about how bad this, that, and the other thing is, and how it is the number one priority. They have to fix this thing.
Yeah.
Right? But that's only the thing that's important to them.
Yes.
You may not think that. I didn't think that that was the number one priority. I'm like, why are they bitching about? Like, they're just bitching about this thing. And then, but then I realized it's what makes their sector of gameplay more fun.
Exactly.
And I was like, okay, I get it. And that's where you start to get like, maybe like myself and a Jarun bumping heads. Is like, I'm out here going, hello, progression video game, where are you? And he's like, it's all great, like this is all great. And it's like, no, it's not, bro. It's not great for me. I respect that it's great for you, but it's not great for me. And it should be, and it could be, and it's not. So let's make it great.
You think that's the issue, that like the game is communicated to be as like a catch-all game? You have FPS, you have like science, you have like a ton of things, and that's gonna like catch a bunch of people.
Yep.
And they want to have their gameplay fleshed out.
Sure. I was gonna answer this in a different way until you like explained yourself. I was gonna say I don't care how they communicate the game, because if you got by a marketing video, like that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You'll eventually learn, watch some YouTube videos and you'll figure out how the game actually is. But
it's not just marketing videos. So sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's not.
It's just like the whole universe around the game is made to be a catch-all game, right? The game of all games.
Yes, but it'll never be. So it just has to do. It has to do what it does well, and that's it. And it doesn't do anything well outside of visuals and ship interiors and stuff like that. Ships it does well. Maybe the way they fly, not the best, but that's what they do well right now. But they need to do other things well. And I think if you look at the core of what Star Citizen is, it's flying a spaceship, doing a number of things, and getting out of your spaceship. Or getting out of your seat, walking around it, and then getting out of your spaceship and doing a number of things. So for me, that it has to to just have the core of we can't have desync in FPS, we can't have desync when fighting in combat in our ships, right? And then from there, it's more about just gamifying a little bit more progression, stuff like that, and I'm fine. That's my personal thing. So of the catch-all stuff, sure. But yeah, you're going to get your sections of the community fighting over priorities because of that.
And then you're going to have like a community of miners that are going to say, well, we have everything that we want right now.
Yeah, because and we don't, but still, we have a lot more than everyone else.
Yeah. You know? And then you're going to have people that just want to play Second Life, but in space. And they're going to say, what are you talking about? This is great.
Yeah, and then we're going to have the PvP community that is literally getting punched in the dick every single patch, more and more and more. It just gets worse and worse and worse every patch, you know? And it's like, okay, you know, but I just made a video of like, what do I think the #1 priority is making the selling mechanic good.
It is what, well, here's the thing. The video that you did, like, first of all, great fucking job with like editing.
I didn't edit it. Don't give me the credit. No.
Okay.
All right. So what I do for those videos is I clip everything. I voice over everything. I clip the pacing of the voice and give the audio track, and I give all notes of what videos I want where, but I don't actually make it look pretty.
Okay.
Jack is one of well, he's not my editor anymore. I get to use him occasionally. He edits for another content creator. I don't know if it's known out there, so I'm not going to say it. And I pushed him in that direction because he was a young kid. He was in college. He was like working a shitty job, and he had an opportunity to do this full time with another Star Citizen content creator. And I just said, go spread your wings, young man. So I have him every once in a while, but I don't have him anymore. Probably. Yeah. But I don't know. Of
editing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out there, so don't say it. But but yeah, so that's what I do is I give him all the notes. So I do like almost all the work, but then he makes it look awesome.
Yeah.
And if there's like missing pieces, he goes out there and finds them.
Anyway, the point of the video was really good because it affects everyone. Like it's important for PvP. It's important for PvE. It's important, like it's important for everything, especially for like now that we can sell vehicle components that we salvage.
Right? Yeah, the thing that I really wanted to get across, and I'm not sure if I did, is I think it's important to have the end feature of the whole loop of a thing be really solid before you make the loop of the thing.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. This actually came up after I had already recorded that video, but when Todd Pappy was talking about the new player experience on SCL recently, I think it was him. It was some Star Citizen dev that said most game companies make the first mission and they make the last mission, and they kind of know what they want things to look like, and then they fill in everything in between. In this case, like that's kind of the example that I was giving is, well, you go out there, you loot, you salvage, you do all this stuff, and at the end of that session, you usually come back and sell it. And whether you tie reputation to it, you know, that would obviously be great. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that experience has to be super solid, done, no issues with it ever again. Maybe you get a bug occasionally when you add a new feature, whatever, but it's got to be a solid experience, and it's not. Yeah. And then after, you know, because that goes into refining everything, and after that, all the salvaging, all the gun running out there that like you would do in a DayZ game and go back to the black market trader, right? Things like that all start to be a much better experience. And that was kind of my point there, is like you solve this one seemingly small problem and you make the game better as a whole instantly. And that is, so like for me, that was like a huge important feature right now before you make the actual features that we're going to interact with more.
I mean, it is. Yeah. Stacking and selling things in bulks is really important in any game.
Yep.
They have like loot and all that.
Like, and like I see someone chat netcode. Obviously, that's a huge priority, right? Yeah. But
Star Citizen is the guy that I play DayZ with.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get to play with them too. When do you normally play?
Well, we played because he has like a silly job. Like
Silly
he's
people with their jobs.
yeah, he's from US and he's like third shift or whatever. And
I've been
I'm
there,
like
brother.
so yeah, so we were playing 5 a.m. Till 7 a.m. my time, which would be like late in the night. Yesterday when we talked, it was like 6 a.m. for me. So
that's doable
around
for
that time.
that's
Yeah,
doable for me. I went to bed pretty early last night.
yeah, we are gonna start playing like earlier in the day, so around the time when you're streaming.
Okay. I mean, I don't necessarily have to stream it.
I mean, if you want to, it's fine.
Yeah, sure. But I definitely want to play and jump in. It's a modded server or no?
Yeah, it is. But I don't know if you want to start with playing on that server or you want to like learn the ropes first on the vanilla one and then going for that one.
I don't care. I've played it before. I know, and I watched enough videos that I pretty much know the mechanics of things. I'm just a bad shot, so that's all.
Yeah. Well, just lower your sensitivity. It's like with any other game. Like I've been playing Overwatch for I don't know 5 years, something like that, and I'm pretty. I don't know if you ever played Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a super toxic community, yes, but it's a fun game, right?
Sure.
And I'm like a Hanzo main, and that's like really hard with the like projectiles and all of that.
He's the one that throws the knives, right?
No, he has a bow and arrow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I know him.
Like a single shot every like 1.5 seconds, and you really gotta hit those headshots. So he's really hard to play. But if you lower your sensitivity and you like move your mouse from your elbow, you're gonna be much better. And you know what? Most of the Star Citizen players and most of the even DayZ players, when I look at their videos or how they miss me like point blank, I know that they have like 100 sensitivity or whatever. So they just like move their wrist and they like do a one.
I just wrist move.
Yeah. It's convenient, but it's not good for aiming.
Do you know what my sensitivity when flying a ship is?
Nope.
It's 5,000.
Excuse me.
Yeah. It's crazy high, but it actually is like really good for me. I don't know. I got so much better when I did that. I don't know how to describe it.
Also keyboard. So VJoy.
I do VJoy and I do
I know that you have VKBs.
Left stick VKB, and then mouse is what I'm.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I basically just roll and strafe, and then I'm yawing and pitching with my mouse.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I can't super micro movements to trying to like move the pip to the shot, and then just like and then just shooting. It's I'm still bad, but I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Well,
I
haven't practiced in a while, but yeah.
People have those like they have the control set up so like the y-axis is like yaw and all of that, but
I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I'm like a War Thunder / DCS / all that player.
Oh wait, I do that. My Y is yaw.
I would fly a plane basically.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. So do you on your pedals? Do you have pedals?
I have pedals out,
but
I don't use them I don't use them for Star Citizen because like you have enough controls on the joysticks.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're coming to the end and running out of some things to talk about. We're talking about DCS and sticks now, but is there anything else on like low effort or high effort or anything you wanted to share? I mean, one thing we didn't do at the beginning, and I apologize, we didn't like introduce you to people who may not know you. So I think we should probably do that is who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you? Things like that.
I'm a YouTuber, turned streamer like maybe 6 months ago. You can find me on Twitch, GrumpyEye TV. And you can find me on YouTube, GrumpyEye, or GrumpyEye, which is my second channel for like stream clips. And I'm also a musician. And yeah. That's it.
We can definitely shout out on Twitch with that Grumpy TV.
Yeah.
Got it. Right. So there you guys can find him there. Nice and easy. And then I'll put the links in the comment section, obviously. /@GrumpyEye, right? This is how we do them now.
On YouTube?
Yeah, you could do the @ now, which is cool. Bam, I think that works.
Yeah. That should be
Hell yeah, it worked. Nice.
Oh, so I have a question there. So, have you thought about doing more variety stuff on YouTube?
On YouTube? No. No, YouTube. I believe YouTube is your channel is your channel, and people subscribed and watch for specific content on YouTube. If you're gonna do anything different, just make another YouTube channel. That's just how I feel. But
what about Twitch? Because they saw you playing Twitch, playing other games on Twitch.
Well, Twitch has gotten different for me specifically. Now that I've gotten to the place where I'm starting to get sponsorships, I had a very interesting thing happen the other day where now I don't know what to do. I went full-time. Sponsorships are a very big part of me being able to go full-time. And I was negotiating a deal with a company, and I had a lot of viewers when 318 dropped. That's when we started negotiating. After a while, the view count went down, and they went, by the way, in the last month, your concurrent viewers went down, so we're going to pay you half on this deal.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what? Because I played Jedi Survivor for 2 days? Like, what? Are you kidding me? And so now it's like, do I have... And I noticed huge streamers have alt streams, and they play the games they like to play on their second stream. And they do the content that gets them the most viewers on their mains. So like, just chatting Andy's on Twitch that just react to videos or whatever, right? They'll do that on their main, and then when they want to play World of Warcraft, they do it on their alt. So it was like, do I have to do this stuff? I'm not gonna stoop to that level, I don't think, because it's not huge amounts of money, but I understand why these people do it now. And it got me thinking, like, I have not played other games on Twitch lately. It's not really because of that. It's because Star Citizen mining has been it's got so much depth that it's like, dude, I gotta figure this stuff out. It's taking me forever. And but as far as YouTube goes, I'm thinking of making like a Let's Play channel. Like, not like Let's Play channel, but just like when I play other games, like just, the episodes of it. Of like Jedi Survivor, the story of it. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
When money gets involved, it gets stupid. And it's like, I don't want to... when it comes to my stream specifically, this is fun. This is fun. I do not want to take the fun away from it. So I'm going to play other games. If I make less money, I make less money. I don't care. But the YouTube channel, I think you just destroy it if you just start doing other random shit.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Go for it. I mean, let me know how it goes. Because that's just my thought process. I've never actually done it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just weird because YouTube is so analytically based. And the moment you do something that your audience doesn't like, it goes red flag and says, I don't like this. So, yeah. But give it a try.
I mean, you know what? If you take a look at my channel right now, I didn't post in a while. The only posts that I had were like some stream clips for like a month. And they were like 400 views, and they were really bad.
Okay.
And then I did a high effort video, the one that you reacted to with the news clip at the start.
Yep.
And it had like, I don't know, 17,000 views now? Something like that.
Yep, 17K.
Yeah. So the next video you can see is like 136 views.
Yeah, because it's Overwatch, right?
It's Overwatch. Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where the algorithm goes, no. And then obviously, dude, Death of a Space Game is like one of the best thing. Like, that is a clicky thumbnail, right? So that's huge on views too.
Yeah, I wanted to have like a comeback because UPC and all that.
Yeah, it was good.
You
But
need it
yeah,
to be good.
that's the thing about YouTube. On Twitch, you can do other things and you'll still have your core audience. On YouTube, your core audience literally leaves you when you do other games.
Just I can't see your face anymore, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I had to put up your channel so I could see it. That's the only place I could do it. There you go. Now you can see me, right?
Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
All right, so anything else? I don't want to keep you because I know that you're... Do you have anything?
I do have... Today, I have to go off as soon as we're done. My wife has like a work retreat in Miami, so I have to drive her there. But but normally I would be able to stay on a little bit longer today. But yeah, I mean, I think we're... Go ahead.
We got to play Star Citizen together. But you got to show me the mining. I started watching... Loud Guns did a video that's like an hour long. That's really informative. But I just didn't have enough time to watch it.
Yeah, that's a long video. I will take you along. It's fun. It's I mean, I don't know if you'll find it fun. I don't know if it's up your alley necessarily, but
it was back in the day, but I got bored of it because it was like the time it was just the same.
It's still not that different. It's the difference is that you're not scanning as much. You're out there mining more because more material has more value now. And the other difference is for me, what excites me about it is I can see the future and what they're doing. It's just a matter of when they do that future. So I have almost no complaints about mining, and almost everything is like hyper praise because it's like, yeah, this all sets up for everything I would want in the game, which is crafting things and fighting over resources. And so
we just need that to happen.
Yes, we do. And I don't know when it's going to, but hopefully we do. But I'll definitely bring you around mining, and I hope you can really see that groundwork that they're laying. And this is... We got a lot of content to make over the next few years, I guess, right? There's going to be a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah. So one thing that I think I understood is that now you combine those bigger rocks, right?
What do you mean?
Because back before this patch, back in the day, you can only mine like rocks up to 9K.
Oh yeah, that's all that was there, right? There was only like the biggest rock was like 8,800 or something like that. Now the biggest rocks are, I saw 130,000 mass, right? But mass,
but are they still the same size?
Physical size? Yeah, they didn't didn't change it. So mass and size are obviously different things. The thing that makes the mass of that rock 130,000 is that there was tungsten in it, which is like a super dense material, right?
Yeah.
So that's
so they
didn't change the size, but they made rocks that you need a mole, or you need multiple moles. The fact that we only used one mole is a definite oversight by them, and that they know about, and I think that they're going to change. I'm not going to say that I know anything because I don't, but I have communicated how bad this is, and I think the reciprocation of, yeah, it's pretty bad, came back with like being able to just make a green zone and finish a rock easily. So yeah, I think we'll be okay there.
They actually utilize those like bigger rocks that we have in the universe.
Oh,
that was the idea for the Orion and all of those like bigger mining ships, so you can like mine bigger rocks.
They haven't like the huge asteroids in the... It's all still the same art assets that we used before. So they never updated the art assets. They just changed the numbers. That's it. It was just a whole back end foundation number change. Yeah, they could do the art stuff later, right? But the gameplay is there, and that's what matters. It's all about what it looks like another time, and then the Orion comes in, and you're fully set up to just go, okay, 1 million mass rock. Here it is. Whatever name thing here, and then it'll do that. So
that's good.
It's the first piece of gameplay in Star Citizen that is not tier 0 to me. It is significantly above and beyond everything else in the game in terms of depth, thought process, that it will likely be very similar at the end of the game if the game ever does release, right? Like this is what it'll be, where everything else in Star Citizen, you go, all right, well, we need master modes, new quantum travel, cargo's garbage, you know, there's no exploration, everything else doesn't exist. This, bro, it exists. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm only hoping the Salvage is gonna get like the same amount of attention, because I really want to live in the Reclaimer.
It's the same people. So if you go mining and you find that you like what they did, you can probably have some healthy confidence that it'll be a decent experience with Salvage as well. So we'll see. I mean, I think that they're doing the foundation with Salvage. It's just fucking stupid that, you know, the value of stuff.
Do we even know what's going to happen with the SRV? I don't want to keep you any more longer.
We're like, fine to keep talking. No, it's good.
Okay. Yeah. So do you know what's going to happen with the SRV? What is it going to be used for?
I almost don't care. I almost don't care. Like how I look at the SRV. So I haven't thought. What I'll say is I haven't thought about it. But what I have thought about with the SRV is that, okay, the work they did with the SRV makes the tractor beams that belong on all the other ships matter. So like moving cargo and stuff isn't you and EVA floating around and doing all this stuff. But if I take a second and think about the SRV, I don't know. Like, what do we use it for? Without repair, like, what's the point?
I have an idea, and I think it's like fairly easy to implement. Because we need cleanup, right? We need those wrecks from player ships to be moved around.
Sure.
So why not? Hear me out. Why not give the SRV? Because SRV, imagine. SRV is supposed to like move ships up to the Connie size, right? Cutlass or Connie size. So why not give like a hangar? I'm gonna say a hangar or like a big ass box to the scrap yards, where you can just drop those wrecks in. The doors close. Maybe there's a sound effect of like some grinding, whatever, and you get some money for it, right?
Yeah.
So there will be salvage, but it's also server cleanup done by players, right?
Yep. And it's done. It's something that the Reclaimer can do, but you don't need a Reclaimer to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like about what they've done with Salvage and the missions is like, I don't need to scrape the hull, but you get the most out of it if you do. But I can get the guns and the cargo off of these things. I like that aspect of it, is not needing the god tier ship to experience the god tier gameplay.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be cool.
I love that idea. I don't think that's like crazy or imagined at all. They had mentioned way back, Grumpy. This is like, I think before you ever played Star Citizen. When these outposts first came in the game, that they were supposed to be like, if you stole a stolen ship, you would chop it here, kind of thing. And now the outposts have kind of become more like, it's weird. They're not like these seedy places as much as they probably should be, but yeah, I mean, I when you were mentioning it, I was thinking, you know, those at Hurston, the big like glowing melting pots that they have at Lorville now. Like it's like
I didn't go to Lorville yet.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, there's like even if you watch the YouTube videos, they highlight them. It's like there's these big like molten lava like containers,
like we have in the refineries, right?
Sure,
but like bigger.
Yeah, like what if you just drop ships in those things, right? And just like that's like a drop off point. I don't know.
Like it's fairly easy to implement, right?
Yes, yeah, quote unquote. Like, who knows what's easy in this game? It seems like everything's impossible, but the
I mean, it's not that you need to chop up the ship like with the Reclaimer and then like munch the hull and all of that. It's just like dropping it into something and
low effort content, if you will.
Low effort content, but again, like give us something, goddammit.
Exactly. And I mean, and that's kind of what I think they're doing right now, is that they're just going, here's something, we know it's shit, but it's better than nothing. And and I hope you enjoy it, I think is what a lot of what we've been getting lately. But then when I saw mining, I was like, okay, yeah, now they went to the next level. Is that hot chocolate?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that looks so good. Nice.
Actually made out of chocolate and milk, so it's not like a powder
It's real
thing.
hot chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so cool. The
I can't drink coffee. My stomach is fucked up. So this is like the only thing that can wake me up, basically.
Gotcha. I can't have caffeine. I get like heart palpitations. So I can't have like a
Yeah.
lot of caffeine.
Me too.
So I try not to have too much. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just want the game to be better, and I think that that's where we could probably leave the show today. Is I know I still get comments, and I'm sure you get comments about me too, about you and, oh, he's this and he's that and like all that stuff, because these people on the internet are so just broken, broken humans. I don't understand. They watch one video of you, they put you in a box, and that's it. It's over. You're this, and that's what you are forever. And it, like, I thought our whole conversation was just super healthy. We obviously have our issues with the game, but we're sharing what we love about, a little bit of what we love about this one, and a lot of what we love about others that are good, you know?
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
It happens to me with the John Crew incident that I had with my stream clip, and I talked to the guy, and he was fine with it. And in the end, I understood that I was wrong, so I told him, okay, sorry, buddy. Like that's the only thing that I can do right now. Take down the video, and that was it.
Oh, I didn't even know you took on the video.
Yeah, I did.
No.
But he was cool with it in the end, and he didn't like get pissed off or mad or whatever. But people did, and people are still attacking me for that, which is like, come on, dudes, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, and exactly. And like we talked about that on the last time you were on the podcast, I'm pretty sure was around that time, or
it was after the podcast.
Oh, you came on the stream that day.
Yeah. You showed me the Twitter thingy.
Yeah, it was that, I mean, that's I still have issues with that too. You know, it's just people remember you for one thing, and that's who you are to them, and that's who you will be forever. But those people, I watched the clip. It's very important for a content creator to hear this. So any aspiring content creators out there, or any current ones that are listening, it was this clip of an NBA player, and he was talking to his owner, and his owner told him this story of like he was like complaining about social media, something like that, the player, and the owner was like, all right, there's the 80 and 20 rule. 10% of the people are going to love you no matter what you do. They don't matter because they're not helping you in any way, right? They matter, obviously, right? But you can't use them to as a, hey, I'm doing good aspect, because no matter what you do to them, you're doing good. 10% of people, no matter what you do, you're the worst human being on the planet. And the other 80% say nothing or say very little. And those are the ones that when they speak, that's when it matters.
But it's not only for the content creators, it's also for like whatever you do. It's
for anybody,
like Star Citizen. You have a bunch of
people
at your job, like whatever you do, you always got to listen to, like, at least I'm like that. I listen to all the sides, and I'm not saying that I know everything and that I'm the best guy around, but the know-it-all.
If you listen to all sides, you're automatically not a know-it-all.
Yeah,
because the know-it-alls don't want to hear the opposite side. They don't want to argue. They don't want to discuss. They don't want to anything. They're just right, and that's it. And they put themselves in their little echo chamber, and they have their little podcasts with the same people every week, and they talk about the same things every week. And this isn't a Star Citizen thing. It's just how the world is now. You know, this should be politics related, you know?
And those people, right?
Yeah. Wait, what? I missed it.
I said you were talking about Andrew Tate, not the Star Citizen creators.
Oh, sure, yeah. But no, it could be applied to anything, right? But yeah, I don't know, Grumpy. I think this is probably a good place to stop for today. But again, I'll put a little shout out in chat. But where can people find you? Do you have anything special coming up to share? Anything planned?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, at some point, I will make, maybe if if I get like some support from CAG, I might make like a concert on Grim Hex, because that's like one of the things that I want to make.
Nice.
But that's like far into the future. So currently, no. I'm probably gonna make a video because if the chat doesn't know, and they probably don't know because you probably didn't tell them, I prepared for this podcast, so I started making like notes.
I couldn't bring it up because it's where I have my camera too, that you could see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my notes in the end turned out to be like a what's it called, like a scenario or whatever for a video. So I'm probably gonna do a video of my own that like touches upon on some things that we talked about.
Yeah, because I mean, when I saw this, it was like, this is a good subject for discussion, and that's what's so good about YouTube videos is like, it's a discussion, but you're just in your room by yourself, and you're discussing with like thousands of people, and they're just, but it's all individual discussions, I guess, for everybody. But yeah, dude, of course, make hundreds of videos about this. This subject is these are the foundations of the game, right? Or gaming in general, is like the types of content and why DayZ's content it appeals to you, and why the current Star Citizen doesn't, right?
Yeah. If you start playing with us, you're probably gonna get hooked up, and like it's a drug. Yeah, it is a drug. Honestly, like, you know what? My PC died and all of that, and I couldn't like stream. I couldn't make videos or anything. I could play DayZ. It did die a couple of times, but like, even if that didn't even if that didn't happen, I would still probably just play DayZ because it's such a fucking drug, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to go into recovery now, and I'm trying to chill DayZ a bit because, dude, you just want to play it. You wake up and you're like, sure, I did all the house things, whatever I had to do, and I just want to sit down and play the fucking game. And it was the same with me in Star Citizen when I started like three and a half years ago. But it is like that with DayZ now, fortunately.
Yep.
Make Mike a theme song. Use your melody.
That would be cool. I just do the quick intro at the beginning, though.
His name is Salty.
But all right, guys, we'll end the podcast here because now it's starting to push it on time for me to drop the old wife off. But yeah, Grumpy, thank you for stopping by. I had a great conversation. I knew it would be, and you definitely did not disappoint. It was a good time, and I'm glad we linked up to talk about this stuff because it's everything to me. Is the little minute things that you do in game over and over and over again are the most important things, period. And whether they're low effort or not doesn't matter as much. It's why you're doing them. And so like why we go to Jumptown, why we do these things, that's everything to me. And we'll get there, maybe. We'll see. But again, thank you. Guys, Grumpy Eyes links will all be in the description, all that stuff. Grumpy, thank you so much again for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a great day. And I will say goodbye to everyone else, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff down below on anything. Let us know what you thought about the stuff that we talked about today. And everybody have a great day.